Good afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to Links to the Past Randomizer League Season 7. This is Week 2. We've got a boss hunt going between Dr. Marty Zero of the Sticky Priest and Schultzer of the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. I am Jesse Radical Sniper 99, joined today by Kazin with Scoopula on tracking. Hello, Kazin. Good morning.
Hello, Jesse. How's it going?
I'm good. So, what is boss hunt?
Boss Hunt is a terrifyingly fast mode sometimes where you got to find 10 out of 12 available Triforce pieces. There's one available on every boss, and there's 2 of them in GT, one at the bottom of the basement, one at the top of the tower. You find 10 of those, and you go kill Ganon.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to be hunting some bosses and eventually a Ganon in there. So expect a lot of that. And yeah, as you said, this mode can be very quick and very terrifying. We've seen some practices that could take less than an hour, and we've seen some go up to an hour and a half. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, they tend to start out pretty similar to, your typical open seed. And as soon as you start getting some dungeon access, from what I've seen and what I've played, you tend to just start going to those dungeons and just knocking them out and hoping that you find something along the way to let you do another one.
Yep. So we'll see, a pretty common start. We'll see the, let's try to get some resources. We'll clear out CAC, get everything we can. And then at that point, you are hoping for that dungeon pull. Like, where can I go? Can I beat Eastern? Can I get up the mountain? Can I do something else?
Or get some Dark World access somewhere along the way.
Yeah. Whatever we can get to kind of moving us in a direction. We are going to see a Lumberjack Scout. Unlikely to be a big deal.
Yeah, it's just a piece of heart this time.
Yeah. I will say, I don't know about that in this mode. It feels kind of extra just because of the fact that there's just so much else we can do.
Yeah, I tend to avoid it in this mode. Like, there's very, very little that could be on there that could be hard required for beating the seed. Because you have options of what dungeons to do. You don't have your 7 crystals and 3 pendants. You just have 10 dungeons plus GT. You can be like, oh, if there's a Samaria there, you can probably just ignore it and ignore Meyer and TR, and you'd never even notice unless the GT Big Key happened to be hiding.
Yeah, that's the big question is, what we need to necessarily get. We talk about that 10 out of 12. That does mean 2 bosses are off the table. And the question becomes, which 2 do we do there? And, you're talking about Samaria. That means, hey, TR Meyer would go off the table and GT becomes a big question mark. So, you're looking for what resources you might not need. And you need to be flexible to see where my go mode is or what I'm missing for it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a judgment call you're going to have to make partway through the seed of like when you're assuming you're in that kind of one from go mode and when you're going to start getting aggressive.
To answer the question in chat about it, I think what makes this mode feel quicker is the fact that because there's that dynamic nature, like what happens in an open mode, a normal open, is like there are 7 very strict requirements. You can't escape that fact. So like as soon as we say TR is a crystal in open, it's, you are going to find an ice rod and beat Trinex. For this mode, there's a very good possibility you just always say, Trinex is dead to me. I don't care. That could be a nice little
either that or the seed could end up just handing you TR access on a platter and being like, you might want it to be dead, but here's everything to go do it. You're not skipping it, and then you don't get that choice anymore.
Right.
So I think really what it boils down to, what causes that, is the fact that this mode effectively doesn't have pendant dungeons. Any dungeon you dip that you can beat is progression towards your goal. When you're playing a normal open seed, you might have to dip a pendant dungeon, which is just a time commitment to find an item, possibly find nothing. And like in boss hunt, you could still potentially find nothing, but if you can beat the dungeon, you're also getting a Triforce piece. And I think
Exactly.
that's where the difference is. That's why the mode is so fast, is that anytime you're dipping that dungeon looking for stuff, you're also making progress towards beating the game.
Yeah, one of the things, we didn't mention yet is we haven't seen any of them, but you talked about crystals and pendants. Crystals and pendants aren't on bosses in this mode. They are out in the world. So we could find our green pendant, our red crystals somewhere in the world. We could find all 3 pendants out in the world. And that could mean, Ped or Pyramid Fairy becomes accessible without beating a boss. There's the book on Sick Kid. That's a nice find for Marty. Unfortunately, Schultzer just save and quit out of Blind Slut, understandably so. Just means he's not going to get that book for a while, and it could be an important item.
Could be an important item, or it could be a quick jump ahead.
Oh, there was a crystal it looked like on Library, so... there is a visual difference, by the way, between red crystals and blue crystals. And
that's a really nice feature.
Yeah. And that's a glove on Race Game. Yeah, we did not see Schultzer pick that up, surprisingly. I thought he would have gone... Actually, it makes that book even more scary now for Schultzer. Yeah. Depending on when he gets back to it.
Yeah, have a... we still need a weapon, but have the right key layout, and that's already a dungeon we can potentially clear.
Yeah.
Once we get a way to do some damage other than bombs.
It looks like Schultzer is going to do a bit of a mini Moldorm cave back sweep to probably Agina by the looks of it, as Marty's going to go for back of escape. But yeah, I mean, you and I have practiced this mode a bunch, and it is definitely one of those modes that can be terrifying. You look at this and you're like, okay, what kind of style am I hoping for of the seed to be? Do I want a jet? Do I want a slog? As Back of Escape just has a piece of heart as well as our map and our small key.
Yeah, I know when I'm playing this, I never want a jet. The jet seeds in this mode are they're absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, and what I'll say, like, for Schultzer with not getting the glove, I understand not having a bomb. I think the issue is that if you come into CAC from the south and you skip getting bombs off of the south of Grove bushes, like, I think you really have committed yourself. Like, I think that's a bad commitment in the moment. Like, I think you have to do that check at least a couple of times to try and get more, at least get a bomb or 2. Like, you can't sacrifice there.
I think if you're going to make the argument of you don't want to spend the time, because it is a time commitment trying to farm for bombs on a 50-50 that sometimes feels like 10-90 for getting bombs.
Yeah.
If you are going to do that, and I wasn't paying attention to Schultzer's screen at the time, but did he scout that the glove was there? Because I think
that
if
is saying that he did.
Getting,
so
okay, so as long as the knowledge is there, I think that's good.
I think the concern is,
if
like,
you do skip farming the bombs, you have to at least scout.
I think the issue is that he has the bow and he's in the eastern area, so it's like you could get a better route through to eastern here.
This could be a case of he found the glove and now he just found a pearl. Maybe he's hoping he was going to stumble upon a hammer, go grab the gloves, going straight into VOO.
Maybe.
Because that could work out to be a very interesting route and pretty efficient. Even if you find the other glove, it still would work, so.
Yeah, we did get a talking to Saha there. And one of the cool things about this mode is that there are actually very visual, like, more descriptive hints that can tell you a lot about the locations of your red crystals as well as your green pendant. In this case, Saha telling us that it was near, I believe, some sparks.
I'm trying to think where that would be referring to.
Well, as Mike is putting out in chat, that is probably the Myers shed.
Oh, yeah. That would check out.
Yeah. The Mire Shed, just to answer the question, is like that is there are these little fireballs that go around the outer rims or the outer rails. So unfortunately, Marty is heading towards Eastern Palace here, or the Eastern area at least. Should be hitting Saha Bolas, but unfortunately missing that bow at Agina. Not a great moment for him. And it does look like Marty is going to head into Eastern here. He is not saving and quitting out of Saha. So he's really hoping for something in here, but from what we've seen on Schultzer's end, not looking like this is a great play, unfortunately.
Yeah, still have an item left.
Yes, Marty did do back of escape. We got the map, the small key, and a piece of heart in the back. So yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Like, it's looking more and more like Eastern and Desert are going to be the two like kind of major plays. We could see a mountain climb, but really it's just for 2 checks at this point. But I wouldn't be shocked if we find a hook soon. But here we go. Eastern Big Key Chest is kind of a last shot for when Marty gets to it in this dungeon, and it is the powder.
That's always fun finding a fetch quest.
Yeah, and by this point we know we'll get actual access to Dark World before, well, likely get Dark World access before having to worry about that bat. I say that, and we could easily just find myths, you know. I could be completely wrong.
Find a mirror to go up on the mountain and find your other glove.
Sure. So luckily that bow is plenty to get through these rooms to get to Armos. Going to be a little annoying going through this next room with the Popos and the red Igors, but no trouble. Might have topped up on arrows, but it's not a big deal for Schultzer here. He's got this.
Yeah, 25 is plenty.
Very nicely done, and it's just a heart container on Armos. So luckily for Marty, this won't be a huge problem. Like if he goes to the desert area to get, you know, those checks, he's not going to be in too much of a bad situation. If, you know, with finding the bow there, it's just a time loss, really.
Yeah, and I can understand why Marty may not have wanted to go to desert yet. When you have the book, you have the glove, you have fire.
Yeah,
kind of want a weapon. Like,
yeah, from his perspective, like you're hoping
makes a lot of sense to avoid it.
Yeah, I would be like, I'm hoping to see, you know, boots or a weapon before going there, and it just wasn't the case this time. I will say, Marty doesn't really have much in terms of bombs or other weaponry, so this front of escape play we're seeing from Schultzer also isn't great for him. Bo is in Agina today. Yeah, like this is a smart play for Marty. It's saying, you know, I don't have great options yet, but I just want to make sure to knock out the Old Man Rescue. This is an obvious one. It's you get the save and quit point. You feel really good having that as a possibility for you.
Do you go up to Spec Rock here?
I think you have to. Like, if you've put the time into just rescuing Old Man, I think we're also gonna at least check out Spec Rock.
I think that's fair. I think maybe if you got a weapon off of Uncle, you could make a different choice, but
Those were the boots, though, inside of Spec Rock.
Yeah.
So really great find for Marty. If he goes to Agina next, he'll get the bow, and we'll see probably a really nice ability to clear desert fully. So good find for Marty. This is kind of rough for Schultzer in the fact that, like, skipping the glove, he has to get back to Kakariko to get that glove to even consider the boots.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, I think this makes a lot of sense.
There's our other glove.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's going to be Dark World access for Schultzer.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm very curious to see how this plays out.
This is going to keep him away from the boots.
Depends on if he decides to play Mountain or Hack first. Like, I don't know, Kaze. How would you play this?
I'm going straight into VOO at this point and starting.
Well, he doesn't have the other glove.
Well, I'm going off the assumption that
if he scouted it, he
scouted. If he did scout it, I would think like that's going to be where he goes.
No, that's fair.
And like doing this back of escape stuff and Dark Cross first, I think makes a lot of sense. But I guess we'll find out very quickly if he did scout it or not, because if he doesn't rush it immediately, then maybe he didn't scout it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, this is really good, actually, for Marty. Because when Marty gets back to escape, like, he's not getting Dark World access here in Desert. So when he finishes Desert, like, his play is probably due to front of escape. Yeah. Whereas for Schultzer, like, he's got all of the Dark World loop. Like, you beat Thieves, you beat Pod. Like, his goal is to stay away from the mountain right now, at least until he gets Hook or Mirror.
Yeah, until you get that eastern mountain access, then you're gonna rush it, because then you also get 2 Triforce pieces.
Although I will say, we got a teammate of Marty in here, Zelga, saying he wants to bet that Dark Cross gets orphaned. So, gonna be curious.
I could see it.
I will say, like, from Marty's perspective, like, he knows that Dark Cross is an item. Nice alternate weapon, by the way.
Yeah, that's about the best you could ask for coming up to Lambo.
Yeah. We are going to get to see the magic bat on Schultzer's side. So, like, I have to say, this is crazy difference in equipment for the two runners already, and we're not even 20 minutes in. Like, you expect very consistent starts. This is just not the case. And there's our first sword off of the bat. Nice. I will say, we're not going to get a rip on using the bow, by the way. Marty could get enough magic. Like, there's at least a couple more magic pots, but I think he's probably going to use at least some bow to take it. Oh, that might change things. Nice attempt to set up the key dash there. Unfortunately, just missed it. But I will say Marty did get the other magic pot, so he's pretty well set on the magic here. Really smart use of his game knowledge to say, you know, I can at least try to get myself up to now 6 fire rod shots. So if he's good about his accuracy, he can easily take down Landmo, no problem.
Yeah, and even if you leave one of them alive, a couple arrows is not bad.
I think he's got a fire rod shot left.
Shot. Hard to say.
He does, okay.
Exactly one left.
So yeah, rip to the used bow. Sorry to anybody hoping for using a bow today. We do get blue mail that over there in Thieves Town, though, for Schultzer, so he'll have an easy time with Thieves Town. Unfortunately, Thieves is always one of those dungeons that greatly benefits from having a dash or the boots. So many straight line rooms in here that you just regret not having it. But, you know, this is what, unfortunately, like, Schultzer's play was good in getting the Dark World access, just not for the other side of it. Marty, meanwhile, is heading back to Eastern. He knows there's an item still on Armos, so he's going to play for that.
There's also goal progression, so like it's something that probably has to be done.
It's just unfortunate on the double dip for sure.
It is. The boots help; it makes it a little bit more palatable, but it is definitely an unfortunate situation to be in.
And here's the thing, like, Marty's advantage with the boots also, like, if he can get that hammer in Dark Cross, like, if he does not skip Dark Cross, what we can say is he's able to play, you know, he'll get that sword off a bat, and there goes, you know, Skull and Thieves for him as well. Like, he's got a great route here, whereas Schultzer, like, Schultzer's got a bunch he can do, and Pod is the next choice really for him. In terms of clearable crystals.
Pod is probably the most obvious choice for sure.
I mean, here's the other problem then becomes for Schultzer, like, does he end up on, like, desert without the boots? Like, does Book tell him, like, okay, you've got either desert possible clear versus, you know, dipping the mountain?
Wasn't.
It was a boots locked
paying
desert.
Attention. It was boots locked. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to if it was boots locked since when we watched it. It was just just do the things and you can do it. But yeah, that could be that could kind of make up for the double dip that Marty's doing here in Eastern. So.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, like, what we're really looking for on Schultzer's side is, can he get hook shot or mirror? One of those two really kind of helps set him back up for the mountain play. Running a little dangerous here on 2 hearts, but he's okay. There's one of our pendants. Oh, this is... Okay. We had a potion. We're okay.
Just drink some blue goo and everything's fine.
Yep. I will say, like, I know there was a thought that maybe Marty skips Dark Cross or like skips the glove or the mitts here. I think one of the things that's interesting is we did see Marty play very thorough to start this race. Like, he scouted Lumberjack. He hasn't really given up a check yet.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I'll be curious, is he going to get nervous finding the mitts or the hammer and decide to skip the other? Or does he say, you know, I'm going to stick to my guns here, that I got boots?
I do wonder, though, if this thoroughness is just being thorough to the point of finding Dark World access.
Yeah.
So,
like when he gets mitts and a
I
hammer,
could definitely see the hammer being skipped, just because once you get mitts, like, so much does instantly open up. Doesn't make you want to slog all the way to the back. Having the lamp definitely helps. It makes it, you know, about as fast as it can be with mitts and boots. So I think it would be hard pressed to skip.
Yeah.
But
well, and we'll see how he handles this. Part of it depends on the screen guard. That's a good indicator of what he's thinking. Like, you leaving the green guard alive, or gonna just, if he kills him, like, I'm not gonna be shocked to see the save and quit.
Yeah.
That's a stun. That feels like, yeah, he's thinking Dark Cross.
This is a setup for sure.
Yep.
Well, I think you have to be thinking Dark Cross until you pull that. Okay, now it's a save and quit. Once you pull the mitts, I could see if you're going to bail with mitts, you would have just save and quit right on the spot. But continuing with the Death Warp, that's good for Marty.
Yeah, this is great, and I see Shady breathing this sigh of relief. Actually, we got both the other members of Sticky Priest here in chat today. So, and yep, Marty getting that extra bomb. He knows he's heading to Dark World. He's gonna start making some checks. He's gonna start at Hype Cave though, so he'll miss, unfortunately, the sword off of the bat.
I mean, there's 3 more swords. They're gonna find one of them soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see one here in Hype Cave.
Well, I think the other possibility here is, does Marty say, I'm going Hype to Pod?
Yeah.
Like, I can do a little better waiting on...
Dungeon, a lot of items.
Yep. And I can do a little better waiting on a sword for thieves. Like, let me not go up to Vu. If you get a sword here, I think you do go Vu. But if there's not a sword, I think Pod might be the better option.
I could even say you do Hype here, just over to Dig Game and just do a full clockwise loop. The current jump over to get down to Pod after doing Skullwoods.
No, with no sword. Like, I think this is the better play, is saying, I do not have a way to beat Skull. So let me beat the dungeon I know I can.
Yeah.
Saying maybe Marty doesn't have the powder? No, he does.
Yeah, it's not.
It's on his personal tracker.
It is on his tracker. Okay, I'm trying to remember where it was even. I think it was in Eastern.
Yeah.
Eastern Vanilla Big Key, was it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they definitely both have that.
Yeah, no, Scoople is doing a good job. Just sometimes the tracker does eat clicks. So, you know, it happens. Sometimes something gets lost in the moment, and that's why it's good to have their personal trackers up sometimes and check it out.
Have their trackers up, have chat checking for you. Just don't trust my memory, because we all know how that goes. Or at least you know.
Oh, yeah. So we are both in pod right now. So it's interesting, like, Marty has the boots, but no sword, so dashing is a little scary. Whereas Schulter is bootsless, but that sword is nice to have for dealing with a lot of other things. Now, one of the things, you know, we talked about that green pendant information that we can get from Saha. On the other side, we could have talked to Bombbender, and he could give us similar info to find out where our 5/6s are. It's a lot of time, though, so I don't think our runners are going to play for it, and that's why we didn't see either of them talk to the Bombbender. Now, that map in our vanilla big key chest was one of our first items in the front possible. There can be up to 2 non-keys here in the front. There's our other one. So no big key. We will have to do the back before we can kill Helmasaur today. By the way, Kaze, that's another reason why the red boom is just so good. Can your blue boom go that far?
Oh. You know why I like the blue boom.
I know.
It's just for GT.
Yep.
And the blue boom may not be able to go that far, but the bow can, sword beams can. Like, there's plenty of options.
Schulter getting a little bullied there, and unfortunately falls off before tossing that bomb to do the switch hit. He's got a little less of a great way to get through that that side.
Yeah, that's a bit of an awkward route to try and take sometimes when you have to figure out a way to dodge the beetles and lay a bomb, pick up a bomb, and toss it, all while they're trying to run at you.
Yep. And heads up play from Marty here, saying me, I'm going to go for the hammer yump.
Muscle memory kicking in a little bit.
But realizing, his options at this point are either Death Warp or maybe Route out the front. So he's going to go for the Death Warp, or the Route out, it looks like. Sorry. Meanwhile, Schulter is going to set up for that Death Warp here.
Just got to find a couple bits of fire to run into.
Yeah, I got his first one, so just has one more to wait for, but in good shape for it.
Or realistically, just throw down a bomb. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised we did not see the health pickup from Marty. He is on green mail still. This is going to be a dangerous Helma fight. Although, I guess Marty does still have the blue goo, doesn't he? Or the red goo, or whatever it was.
was a blue, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
still there, but when you're down to 3, that can disappear very quickly if you're not really, really paying attention.
but we are seeing a great combination of like every item or every weapon Marty has here, knowing when to switch to each thing. When can I use a boomerang to help myself? When will a fire rod be the right choice? Like, just very heads up switches at each moment. Does get that 1 heart, really doesn't make a difference though for Helma. Helma will deal 2 hearts of damage for any of his attacks.
There's a psychological aspect to it though, like you feel like you're better off even if you're effectively the same. And here's that blue boot.
Yep. And realistically, we're good on money for the rest of the seed. Like, if Zora is something, you're over 700 rupees and you've done pod. So, like, most of the real spends are done. Nice start to that phase 2, though. Good kill from Marty.
Yeah, very clean shooting there.
Meanwhile, Schultzer is coming up on the Helma fight on his end. So that'll tie it back up at 3 apiece. Marty, though, does have the ability to go take care of Thieves Town. So looking a little better on his side. And, like, Kays, we've gone through a lot of the checks. In terms of what is the progression at this point, like, Skull? Boots checks we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, like a mirror or hook shot has to be coming up here very shortly. And I imagine Skull's going to have something.
But that is just our second shield. Schultzer, though, starting at Link's house, I'll be curious to see where he's headed. Is this going to be a Splash Elite?
It's looking like it.
Yeah, Splash Deletion with 2 bombs and a red ring. Very nicely done. So going for the fake flipper checks. I mean, if Schultzer can stay out of desert, it's to his benefit. Unfortunately, for Marty, skipping out on Magic Bat. So that sword advantage does stick around for Schultzer, and it just becomes that much more important as now Marty cannot beat Skull Woods.
Also, the longer it goes, eventually it's going to start turning into a potential question of a tempered versus master sword cannon fight.
Yep.
Like, a sword turning up at somewhere along Marty's route is pretty eventual, but the longer you skip an available sword, the less likely you are to end up getting your tempered sword.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when would Marty even end up there? Like, you know, we're talking about skippable dungeons. Is Meyer a potential skip in this seed?
So far, it very likely could be. I do feel like Meyer TR tends to be the most common pair of skips.
And I do see Cool Papa Bell in chat saying, you know, a mirrorless Smith. That could help for Marty, honestly. Like, that does put him into the play of saying, you know, if I turn in the Smith, I do the bat with it. So that's a very hopeful play. Zora, though, nothing on Zora or the ledge. The only thing we really got was I mean, Schultzer got a fairy for his bottle.
Yeah. It's a bit of a catch-22 here for Schultzer. If he were to go to desert, where was the fire rod in desert?
Big chest, so locked
Big
by the
chest.
boots as well. So the fact that Schultzer
Okay.
is looking at mountain right now is his best play and will work out very nicely for him getting the boots.
It may be down to being almost only play left even.
It's either that or he dips. Okay, so the options for Schultzer right now
Dip in
are
front of Skull Woods.
dip desert, climb the mountain for 2 checks, or mirrorless smith chain, or pyramid catfish. Like,
yeah,
none of these are
none of
great.
those sound very appealing, especially 40 minutes into a boss hunt.
Oh, and we did get a red crystal. Yeah, Scoople was right. We did get 1 red crystal out of the waterfall, so that might be the actual best thing we got. TBD.
Very potential.
But no, Schultzer getting the boots up here will be massive. That'll send him to desert. He's going to get the fire rod. So he'll have, stuff he can beat. So this is going to feel really good. Or bad. I don't know. This is, like, I would see those boots and be like, oh, that's not great. But, he's got to feel good about his early Light World route, allowing him to beat dungeons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can read much into this. You could say, did my opponent do this? If they did, how much was I ahead in the Dark World, maybe?
I think that's a real hard thing to think about whenever you're asking yourself that question. Did my opponent do this? I don't think you usually have the thought of, like, how did that give me an advantage by missing the boots? You're just gonna think it's like, oh, I could have had these 20 minutes ago. But it's a good point. It's like the fact that you didn't do that, what does that mean? That kind of balances it out. And in this case, it was the Dark World access.
Yeah, like, if you know your opponent, like, Gaze, you and I know each other well enough to be like, that Agina find of the bow could have easily swung a race between you and I. You and I have very different philosophies about doing that check.
Yeah, I think we're a little more similar in this mode, but generally speaking, like, I know we metagame each other left and right on that almost every time, so. Be very curious to see what Marty does here.
I would say, like,
Mirrorless Smith would set him up very nicely. It's not a very appealing play to make. Like,
no, but if you pick up the Smith and do hammer pegs, like, I think with the intention of after turning in Smith and Bat, that you're dipping Skull is not a bad idea here. We're at least going to see the pegs.
you can see the pegs. I could see this being pegs into front of Skull Woods. But there's nothing worse than doing hammer pegs with boots and no sword.
Yeah.
It's just not fun.
But yeah, Marty has a slight lead now on the Triforce piece front, up 4-3. Schultzer will tie it back up with this desert play, and he'll have an immediate next dungeon in his book with the Skull Woods. Okay,
Skull
so
Woods.
Marty's... We have
Logic
ice.
Ice is also an option.
Yep. It's not going to be great without Hook or Samaria, but it's realistic.
It's an option. I don't think you do it before Skull Woods, but it's definitely something you would do before Mirrorless Smith Chain, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be hoping for my hook shot or mirror, and we're going to actually see Stumpy and Dig game from Marty, so this could lead to him picking up Smith after Dig.
I think with this route of kind of going Stumpy backwards, it very much leads into that idea, so that could work out very nicely for Marty.
And I will say, Structural Mike pointing out a great way you could play this mode right now is Fairy Revive hovering East Death Mountain. Awesome. Love it.
That is a thing.
Yep. Okay, so is Marty going to save and quit here with the Smith, or is he going to Skull? Big moment. If he gets the Smith, this is good. Yeah, he's going to get Bat. So we're pretty much tied up.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, Schulter is going to beat Landmo pretty easy here. He'll come to Vu. He'll do boots checks. Like, I think Marty might be just slightly ahead in terms of total checks.
Schultz are going to grab some hearts. Nope.
He's got a fairy. He's fine.
Oh, he does have a fairy. That's right.
Yeah.
But then how are you going to hover EDM?
I don't know. He probably won't.
Oh. I mean, I doubt it, but...
He'll just get a full heal off of the Landmo kill.
Off of the
We're
boss.
fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Smith is nothing, though, so Purple Chest is the last piece of the day, but that's not really fun either. You know, talking about mirrorless Smith chain, this is not good.
Once you get this sword, Purple Chest, it's just dead. You're not doing it.
Well, I will say, for Marty, what's left? It's Purple Chest, it's Pyramid Ledge, it's Catfish.
Well, I'd say once with the sword, now it's Skullwoods.
Yeah.
Ice Palace, like... There's options, so.
Yeah, and really we're hoping for progression here. Like, that's kind of where we're at, is rush your next dungeon and hope that it works. Hope that this is mirror, hope that this, even flute would be good right now. Like, flute doesn't give us a clearable dungeon, but it's something.
Gives you a couple checks. Potentially a couple more in Mire that could only be one item as well, so that one's a little hard to say.
Yeah, and I will be curious, you know, I see everybody saying Ice Palace, and, you know, that's the question of, like, how hard do you want to go for the dungeon that is clearable but not comfy, like that?
So both of the runners going into Skullwoods. Now this is a pretty good look at where the gap is between the two of them.
Yeah, and the difference really at this point is Marty has the Smith done, whereas Schulter has the flipper checks done.
Right.
If that 5-6 crystal matters for Schulter, that's pretty good. But if it's purple chest, I will say that helps Marty probably a little more. Because Marty will be possibly quicker to purple chest. And part of this could just be, you know, how much do we have to come back out to the front of Skull here? Because we got that big key in its vanilla location. We're doing Under the Bridge, you know, is this an item? Is Moth an item? Or are we going to end up back in, like, there's our first item in Skull. Will we see, you know, a front of Skull play as well? And if Marty ends up at the front of Skull, Kaze, are you doing purple chest or maybe a water walk to Catfish and Pyramid?
I think I would be doing Catfish Pyramid. Personally, I would be saving purple chest for hopefully either a mirror, like a mirror and a flute, or at least a flute, or something to make it better.
And unfortunately, Marty having a real time with this room, taking some falls. So tried to get back health, and it's just been like he's been getting bullied by that room. He wants to save as much magic as possible for this upcoming fight. But he does have powder, so he's okay.
immediate swap to hammer. So see some good hammer strats here coming up.
Just a little bit of an uncooperative moth, yeah. Gonna bring out the fire rod, hoping to kind of bounce the moth around the room a little bit. Was able to do so, but just a little bit
to some degree. He is not cooperating with that.
No, and Marty's been just like a pixel or two away from getting those hammer hits, but does get the kill. Nicely done. Meanwhile, Schultzer on his fight. The second item is not on the moth.
And moth still being equally uncooperative for both of them.
But both runners surviving the fight, no deaths, no wastings of fairies, we're all good. Back tied at 5 pieces apiece.
Yep.
And yeah, we will see, you know, whether it's Purple Chest or the Pyramid and the Catfish here between each of them. For Schultzer, we could see the Smith, but yeah, I feel like you have to make a play for at least one of those areas.
I have a feeling we're just going to find something here in the front of Skullwoods and not see any of those for a while.
I was about to say, Schultzer, are you going to bail? No, Schultzer is going to at least check Skull here.
I think there was a little bit of quick math happening. It's like, did I get all the items? Because you do have, technically you have 3 items, but it's really only 2 because the Triforce piece is an item.
And funnily enough, this is one of those Skullwoods plays that, like, you full clear the dungeon because the last item is here in the pinball room.
Yep.
And that's Spike Cave.
That's not what any of us were expecting, I don't think.
No, but that does give us Spike Cave, and we're going to see Spike Cave immediately on Marty's side. And Schultzer's also saving and quitting. Nobody is looking at Pyramid, Catfish, or Smith Chain right now. They're both saying Spike Cave is the answer. We are in lockstep, folks. And there it is. There's our progression. A mirror in Spike Cave. That Burna is huge to have discovered on both runners' side. And we're right back up the mountain.
Yeah, this is the density of checks that they were waiting for.
Yep. Like, and this is the obvious play. We're gonna do Hera. We're gonna immediately find ourselves doing hopefully both pieces out of GT as well. This should put both of our runners at 8 with the ability to get a 9th. We are looking for just the stuff to get our last piece after that, really. That's what our hope is. And realistically, I see a world where, you know, we check these first 2 checks in Hera and I bail hoping for Hook. Like, if this is not the big key, I think I'm leaving hoping for Hook on East Death Mountain.
Even if it is the big key, you might consider bailing.
Well, it looks like Marty's going to go.
Marty's going to go. I think it's reasonable. I think it would be reasonable to bail for the rest of the mountain to try and be able to Harapot, but like, how much time does Harapot actually save versus having to walk back and forth across the top of the mountain? I've never actually timed it. I assume it's faster to Harapot, but again, I haven't timed it, so it could be wrong. And there's our hook shot.
Yeah, no, that's... Yep. There was no Harapot happening today, folks.
Yep, nope, that was never an option.
And meanwhile, I believe the cage was our first item, so Marty doing a bit better of a job keeping track of his items as Schulter does get the big chest just for a map. So unfortunate time loss for Schulter getting the big chest as well as falling there in the top room. So Marty was already slightly ahead, just opening it up a little bit more here in Hera. But at this point, we can say, what, flippers or flippers and a sword for go?
Yeah. Flippers and a sword would do it.
And that's depending on this GT big key. Let me not undersell the fact that we need a GT big key to work this, and technically the GT big could be on right side. So this is a 5 out of 22 question as well. Okay, so Ether for TR, we are way off of TR then. We are 3 from even thinking about TR. TR is probably not one of our pieces today.
Yeah, I feel like TR is all but just being as good as dead.
Yeah. Because, like, even if we get... If you get Kane, let's say, as an item, like, that just makes me think other places instead. Like... It feels even less likely.
I'm not going into TR without the ability to beat it in this mode.
I think that's fair.
Like, it's a gamble going into TR looking for, you know, I know it's often just called a French vanilla ice rod, even though it's not remotely a French vanilla location for it. But, like, that play happens quite often in, like, Kaz boots are open sometimes, or even 80 keys, but in this mode, that is such a risk with such a huge punishment if you're wrong.
Yeah, and I will say I appreciate this aggression from Marty here, saying, I am rushing GT, I'm going after pieces. Although there is our Ice Rod and our Bombos. This is getting interesting now. Schulter has some plays to make. Like, I like this from Marty. He's saying, I need stuff to beat this game.
And our Ether.
This game just said Samaria and a sword, or hook.
We're calling TR dead, and the Seed's just like, hey, hold my beer about that.
There's our GT.
There's the big
we don't need. Yeah, we don't need Samaria. So if we find flippers, we are just looking for a sword. But here's the thing. What Schulter got is nice. It just does not give him another piece right now.
Yeah.
All he has found is the ability to beat TR if he finds Samaria, and that's not necessarily great. Super Bunny could be a little different here, but it is red mail and the cape, so...
Even if you end up with full kit to beat TR in this mode, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it's such a long dungeon.
Yeah. So, like, Schulter got some extra ways to clear this game that will open up to him, but he didn't get something to jump ahead of Marty.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
We were running out of items that allow a jump. And there's a flute.
Oh,
that kills TR. That effectively kills TR. Yes. Now if you find Samaria, you get Meyer. Meyer's just a better option.
Agreed. I will say that the medallions that Schulter got now are a little more valuable, depending on if Marty does go back for East Death Mountain after taking care of the 2 pieces here in GT. But there is a sword. We are looking for either flippers or Samaria. for us to know how to beat this one.
That kind of kills Ice Palace beyond just go-moding it for the Triforce piece, too.
Yeah, no. Ice is definitely going to be one of those dungeons. You play that vanilla. Like, you don't even care about Samaria now for that dungeon. It's just go kill cold.
How much do you open in there looking for Samaria? Since Samaria could be in there, and that could also be your go mode.
Well, I guess the question you ask yourself is, you know, am I already in go when I'm in ice? Like, I think at this point, because of how much like locks ice in that regard, like I might not care about ice too much because of the fact that it could be locked Samaria. It's Flipper's locked, which is one of our go mode conditions.
Right.
You know, maybe I look for Samaria. It does happen.
I think you just open stuff that's along the way. Freezor, big chest potentially if you get the big key. And then, yeah, other than that, you just kind of blitz the dungeon.
Now, in terms of how Marty plays this, I see a world where he gets that piece, mirrors, and goes right back to East Death Mountain. I think he can get the medallions.
Yeah.
Like, I actually really like how Marty decided to approach this, saying, let me go to the dungeon I have to clear, and if I can skip all of East Death Mountain, all the better.
The other thing to keep in mind is when you have a hook shot, you already have, I mean, you have a flute now, and you have the Old Man's Heart location. Like, Paradox is never that far away. Like, getting to East Death Mountain, just hooking across the bridge is not that big of a deal. So I could see deciding to even put it off further and just go to dungeons you can beat.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is if the Cane of Samaria is on top of GT, like, we could get a Cane of Samaria up here. If it's here, then there is a discussion of Marty saying, I'm going to hope that Quake is Mire. But as long as it's not, I don't see a world of him skipping East Death Mountain here. But so far, we're just about done our climb. Master Sword climb's not too bad with silvers. It's just, you know, there's a few rooms that are not fun. And of course, the Wizrobe rooms without a Samaria is also never a good time. Just enough magic for Marty here. Gonna have to kill the mini Helma, though. Just to make sure he's got that extra key, although there's a key in the chest up here. That's a good sign. And there's another key. So I think that's all of our GT keys. Heads up there on the menu after getting that final hammer hit. And we are mirroring out of GT, so yeah, this is Marty saying, I am going to get East Death Mountain. We'll get to see where everybody is again after this play over to East. Did we see either Runner Scout bumper case? I don't think we did.
I don't believe so. If we did,
And I don't
missed
think you
it.
would.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a long shot to try and find a fetch item. Although the information is still like if you know the item is there, then you're just looking for a different item instead.
So yeah, we're gonna see Marty clear up the Paradox Cave to finish out the mountain on his end, as Schulter is about to get to the top floor of GT. And then they'll both save and quit to go activate their flute.
Yep.
And I have to imagine we're heading right to the Mire area, hoping for one of 3 items to be it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Marty sees those two and is like, I don't need this. I don't want this.
Yeah, hopefully Marty's keeping in mind that that flute does basically mean TR is dead.
I have to imagine it's in the back of his head at this moment. But there we go. So there is the clear on Marty's side of the mountain. And we're getting that flute activation. Meanwhile, Schulter just killed Moldorm 2 and is about to get his
Looks like
8th piece as well.
Just a little bit.
It did.
They are
Realistically,
right on top of each other.
Yeah, Schulter doing East Death Mountain, full clearing it, was not terrible. Because of the fact that Marty had to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, if Marty had found go mode, that would have been a huge advantage. But since Marty had to go back and forth, that time cost of going back and forth across the mountain is where Schulter's saving.
Yeah, because Schulter was probably a little further behind after Hera, but this little back and forth was able to close some of that gap.
Yeah. As expected, we're going straight over to the Mire area. I
Three
imagine
quick
we're
checks.
just Mire
one of these
checkerboard and head straight to ice is what I'm doing.
And we know that one of these is Green Pendant.
Yeah. How much do you care about that Green Pendant right now?
Oh, the other one's the other
crystal.
5/6. Okay. Case, are you thinking about maybe doing Pyramid Fairy and Pyramid Ledge here?
If I'm Schulzer, that's not a bad option. You could even take that straight into the Green Pendant, like get a decent number of checks. I think I still do ice first though. Like get your
even knowing
piece. Get your 9th piece, open up what you can along the way. Like if Samaria turns up, all the better. Like yes, it is flipper locked, you're not gonna find your flippers, but if Samaria turns up, great. If not, you can always do those checks right after. Like they're not gonna get any better or worse doing them before or after.
Okay, and we are getting ice from Marty, although does forget doesn't have flippers for a second. Oh.
Yeah. Also, chat bringing up a good point. 5/6 is flipper locked.
Oh yeah.
So, by the same logic of why you're hesitant on ice, you would want to probably be hesitant on the 5/6.
By the way, did I miss it, or did Schulter not get his tempered sword? That's a blue sword on Schulter's side. Did he forget?
It looks like it, possibly. Yep, that's still a blue sword.
That's still a master sword. Schulter, why?
And we're getting a Mire dip on Schulter's side. This could be interesting.
He's playing the logic, realistically. Like, I don't think this is a bad decision. We could have a vanilla Samaria, or a French vanilla Samaria here in Mire, but interesting. Yeah, chat, we are just as baffled as you. Schultzer's a great runner and, you know, has plenty of skill, but skipping out on a free sword in checkerboard cave is a question mark. That is time save on Ganon that we just, you know, you can't overlook.
Now that's a concern for sure.
Yep.
I wonder if the plan is to do it after Mire, but I still don't like it.
Yeah. There's our first item in Mire, though.
I can understand, it's like, oh, I just got the green pendant. I want to quick mirror flute away and grab that. Like, I still think you do checkerboard first, because you do checkerboard, you're going to mirror anyway. Flute away, turn that in, and then if you're going into Mire to follow logic, then you come back and do Mire. I just think that's a better order of events, so...
And Marty is actually rushing cold.
And I think this makes sense. Like it says, like half of your go mode options are not possible to be in here. So, and I haven't been paying attention to where the keys are. Is there any key logic stuff that's come up that might be hinting that this is like it's Mario locked?
I didn't notice anything specific yet. I thought we got at least one key, but I could be wrong. But that is piece 9 for Marty, and no answer for Schultzer, unfortunately, so...
That's real unfortunate for Schultzer, because he just committed a full dungeon dip and nothing to show for it.
This is going to be green pendant and pyramid ledge, or maybe just pyramid and catfish.
Pyramid catfish?
He might be skipping out on that.
Here's a Bombos tablet check. This is an interesting one that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, Schultzer going for the mirror checks at this point. Probably K45 and the Smith chain coming up after that, but nothing on Bombos. And this is kind of what we were talking about at this mode from the outset of, Kaze, are you terrified if you're in this race?
Oh, absolutely. Every check you're going to now is kind of and it's just like, you just assume your opponent's doing it in the opposite order you are. They found first and you're finding it last. It's terrifying. Like, which one of those skips was your flippers? Which one of those skips was your Samaria? There's no way to know.
Thought maybe that was a route back for potentially Graveyard Ledge, but no, Marty is continuing to catfish. As Schultzer is about to turn in the Smith, and we're going to get our first look at Purple Chest and Catfish on both sides probably at this rate.
Did Marty pick up the cape?
He did.
He did. So
they
this
could
just be Catfish to Graveyard Ledge to Bumper Ledge?
So. He could route back to Catfish and then go across North Dark World.
And then if that's there we go. There we go.
That's Samaria. Go mode. Yep, go mode for Dr. Marty.
For Marty.
Yeah.
And with 9 Triforce pieces already, it's a tall order for Schultzer at this point.
Yep. And the sword.
Yeah. The silvers helps with the sword, but it's probably not going to be enough.
Now we do know where our Myra Big Key is. It is in the lobby. Very nice use of Fire Rod there for Myra too. And that's a mushroom off of Graveyard Ledge.
Oh, that is not what you want to see.
I think what we can say is probably the flippers are just in TR.
At this point, it's very much looking like that. Could be on one of these fetch items, but...
Or GT right side, yeah. I mean, it's looking more and more like flippers are just on the mountain somewhere in Dark World, and, you know, they're just, this was going to be the play. And yeah, not on the potion, or the mushroom turn-in, so... There is that final big key for Marty, so he is off to Vidi, and with those silvers, that's going to be a really quick fight. On the other side, Schultzer is heading towards Catfish, and will get his go mode Canis Samarium shortly. And there we go, just past 117, Schultzer getting that Cane of Samaria. So unfortunately, though, this is a pretty big gap, and I don't see much of a shot for Schultzer to come back from this right now.
At this point, yeah, I don't. But it would take a lot.
It would. But just like that, Vidi is dead. We'll mirror Flute to 5, go into Dark World and rush that pyramid to take care of Ganon, as, yeah, Marty has 10 pieces. Well, Schultzer in the Mire basement just has to take care of Vidi here, and then we'll head likely to Ice Palace. The Hinox there not being a bro, throwing bombs.
Yeah, they like to do that.
Ooh, just missing the 1-on-1 there, unfortunately, for phase 1, but into phase 2 and gonna just break out the cape. Gonna get some nice spins here.
Yeah, with half magic, he can spend pretty much all the time you want doing that, especially with the silvers.
And it does look like Schulter is heading back for Checkerboard Cave. Gonna get his Tempered Sword. But double to start phase 4 and a double to finish out Ganon here. So get your GGs in chat for Dr. Marty Zero of the Sticky Priests taking this game against Schulzer and the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. And then pretty much right after Marty put in his done, Schulzer has decided to forfeit, understandably so. Good race for Schulzer as well. Give it your GGs in chat for Schulzer. We will see if we can get our runners into chat with us a little bit. Schulzer is getting bullied outside of Ice Palace. We are now joined, though, by Dr. Marty Zero. GG.
Thanks, guys. GG's to Schulzer as well.
Hey.
That was stressful.
Yeah, I will say you guys had probably the most divergent possible Light World routes to start this race. Schulzer had Dark World access probably a good 5 to 10 before you, but lacked the boots for a while.
Oh, damn, yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd be, like, my routing I knew was a little bit odd, so I thought I'd stumble upon the boots earlier, but by then I thought I'd be behind because I was lacking the Dark World access, yeah, so I don't know, speaking to Schulzer there in the chat, seems that he managed to get almost every location, what they're saying.
Yeah, really what happened was that the two of you reconvened, like you guys met back up again right around the time of beating Skull. The only difference was like you had turned in Smith and he had done the flipper checks. Like he had done some fake flipper stuff to get all those done, leaving both of you to nothing. And then you were both in Skull getting Burna and then immediately to Mirror. So you were both in Hera at the same time, clearing the mountain at the same time, as we are now also joined by Schulzer. GG.
GG, Schulzer.
I guess you had Kane before getting the Miller?
No, Kane was my go mode.
Yeah, I meant to. I just decided to do Maya and the host mission and have the other check before going to Catfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just saying you guys pretty much ended up on the mountain at the same time, getting your mirror. Up to that point was kind of a crapshoot back and forth. Like you guys had very different routes to start the race and getting into Dark World, and then you guys just met up with that mirror practically, like probably less than 30 seconds between the two of you at that point.
God damn. And we were like
Yeah.
equal at the time too, yeah?
You were both
everything I
at 5 pieces, so yep.
Yeah, I mean you just land from dungeon to dungeon. I thought like maybe Martin would skip the mid for a good time being, but then like even if you don't get the mids early, you get funneled into the mids at some point. I feel like. So
There was a bigger risk of me skipping the hammer because after I got the Zelda cell, I was thinking I don't need to go to Dark Cross now. There's no way there's anything useful in there.
Yeah, we were having some discussion about what would happen there. I think it was it Zelga mentioned like
Both of
this
them.
is bad. Yeah, this is bad.
Zelga
There's a
and
good
Shady
chance
were both
Martin's
like,
gonna skip the hammer here.
And they had good reason to panic because I am totally the person who would just run straight to thieves and ignore that. So,
I mean, it's very reasonable. Like you get your Dark World access, and the way this mode plays out tends to be like you get progression. You just start going after it ASAP. So like missing that would totally be reasonable, and this could have been a very different game if that happens.
Hey, Kaze, did you see what the ped just said, by the way?
I did not know.
The toe webs sleep again.
Oh wow!
Of course.
I completely wait, we had 3 pendants, didn't we? Oh,
yeah. Well, I had all 3 in there, yeah.
I mean, that third pendant being in the Mire Shed pretty isolated that ped, so funny.
Yeah, I would have like maybe I would have remembered after doing cutscene chest, but yeah, but that pendant was
solely because I was burned in the seat yesterday by not checking PED. I last located it. I was going to check it there after Catfish, so I was going to feel a little bit good, but geez, what a dick move.
So, who ended up first being in like activating the fruit? I guess.
You guys were both on the cutscene at the same time. I think Mario was
15 seconds.
I guess 5 seconds or so ahead, but it was really, really close.
Yeah, when you guys went up on the mountain, you had you both did Hera immediately, so it was great for you both finding Hookshot. But then when you guys went across the East Death Mountain, Schultzer, you scouted the island and dropped down for Spiral. Marty went right into the TR portal to GT and Hookshot Cave. So I think Marty, you might have had like 30 seconds out of Hera, but your mountain route, unfortunately, not getting Go mode in GT caused you to lose a little bit of that time advantage you gained.
Okay,
so
I figured going to GT was the smarter play because there's however many checks in there. You're either going to get 2 pieces or not. Therefore, it's better to do that first, clear it, and then go back to Dark Death Mountain. But it didn't work out in my favor this time.
Yep.
If I get Go mode on the mountain, then I might win because I can just run past every chest on the left side and just go. I might skip the sword, but who needs it at that point?
Yeah, no, both.
Shout out to me for getting the sword, not pick up the sword. Pick up because I forgot it was Ganon 100, but I just normal type of speed sound. Oops.
Oh, we were curious what happened. Our chat was kind of freaking out, like, why did Schultzer just skip a free sword? He did see it, right?
Yeah, I just forgot it was Ganon 100. So
okay.
And I was like, oh, wait, is it Ganon? I should probably grab that.
Fair enough.
Different modes, yeah. It's very easy to get mixed up on what you're meant to do, and then halfway through you're like, isn't this Randomizer?
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a very there was not really much you can load on the field. It was just like go to your dungeon, get your next item, go to the next dungeon, and at some point find your and if you're lucky, get Kane for it and win because of that, or you don't. And once then do it, and while you was just a little bit fast, I guess like Smith's Chain, I probably wins, but I don't know.
Yeah, we thought there was one possible divergence there. Was like after you guys pulled the blue cane out of Skull, we thought maybe somebody could have gone for like the Water Walker Kern jump over to Catfish Pyramid, but you both kind of just said no, we're rushing up for Spike Cave. So
the best thing is if I don't find boots in Spectral Rock Cave, I was determined to do Spike Cave out of logic, but boots kind of negated it. So kind of unfortunate that another major item was in Spectral. I think I did enough lag. almost enough life to do it with the ferry I got from 1 point ferry.
Yeah, I think you were on 7 or 8 hearts, so you should have been okay with the ferry.
Oh, you did ferry? I wanted a ferry.
Zora Waterfall refills were ferries.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, I ended up using my blue potion for sea stone because I did not pay attention. Also, shout out to not getting the 25 warmed up to having to skip the glove in Kakariko. That felt super nice.
We were getting a little worried about it.
I think it, like skipping the glove is the correct play. Like maybe if you go back and bottle merchant and sick it, I was like, okay, what can happen? That my dark foot access could be on a mountain, sure. But if that happens, it's bad enough already. I'm gonna find the other glove and can just get the glove and go to and have to go to Kakariko anyway. Or I'm gonna find hammer and glove, go get my other hammer and moonpearl, and go get my glove and start my dark without a sea stone instead. So that kinda worked out in my favor in the end. That I also did not had to skip set aside because if I get the glove early and the hammer directly after I jump down in back of escape, I do not know when I get the bits in the seed. I might be lucky that I just go catfish first instead of doing castle. I don't know at that point. But yeah, other than that, just unlucky in the end. Few checks. I win, a few checks where Muddy wins, and today was not the day.
Yeah, that by the sounds of it is just pure good luck on my end, bad luck on your end that I went to the right checks. So I don't feel good for winning a race like that, but that's the breaks in Randomizer. Sometimes you have those days, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and Boss Hunt definitely was one of those modes that will really highlight that moment.
Yeah, that's it for me. 2 days back to back, so have fun, Mario, and the rest of the tournament, and thanks for checking, coming, and all that stuff. Bye bye.
Have a good one, Schultzer. Thank you. I will say, game 2 already scheduled between your two teams, or?
I think it's tentatively sometime on Sunday, but I think we're still working out the time itself. So hopefully that will be up in the schedule sometime in the coming days.
And do we know who's gonna? Who? Sorry.
It's looking like the weekend anyway, and no know for sure with the matchup just yet. Yeah, so I best not announce it.
Okay.
Until I'm sure.
Nope, that is quite all right. So hopefully, look forward to something this weekend between the Sticky Priest and the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. Dr. Marty, though, getting the second win for the Sticky Priest this season, and so, tough start to the season for sure. Always, that first week mode was pretty difficult, and this one is kind of a crapshoot at times. But thanks for joining us, Schulter, as well as Marty. Do you have anything else before we start closing up for today?
No, just thanks a lot for the restream. Thanks for everyone watching out there. Thanks to the trackers, and yeah, go watch more races. There's plenty more going on.
Yeah, make sure to follow our runners, Dr. Marty Zero and Schulter. Links are in the chat. Big shout outs as well to Scoopula for volunteering to track today. In terms of our schedule here for the league, if I just take a quick look at what we definitely have coming, I will say tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on SpeedGaming 2, it's going to be TJ Malmstrom versus Homemade Beer. That'll be calmed by Arya Stark and Mayan Diem with Darakshana on tracking. And then at 9 p.m. tonight on SpeedGaming 3, we got Scary Olive versus Zeruvian with Drossi and Leaf commentating. And that looks to be it for the invitational schedule. Let me see if there's anything on the open side of things. Looks like we do have one race happening tonight between Talon and Coin Chaser in the Open League. That's scheduled for 9:45 Eastern Time. Doesn't appear to have a restream, though. So just a few races happening this evening. There will be more Boss Hunt throughout the week. That'll go through Sunday, so do try to catch more of those races. But that's going to do it for us here at Speed Gaming for now. Kaysen, thanks for jumping on with me.
Yeah, no, thanks for letting me hop in last minute. This is a fun race to come.
Oh, and Scoopla is saying that there's apparently SMZ3 tonight as well. There's a new tournament going on with the SMZ3 community. I believe it's what, a 774 slow. So definitely a cool one if you enjoy the Link to the Past randomizer. Seeing it merge with the Super Metroid side of things, it's a fun one. So do check it out. Oh, and boots start. Even better. We can go fast. So, but with that,
Always
have a
fun.
great rest. What was that, Case?
I was just saying that's always fun, adding boots.
Yep. So with that, have a great rest of your Tuesday if we don't see you, but hopefully you're around for the other races tonight. With that, have a great one. Bye, everybody.